Hello. I'm Christine Schiavone, and our show is Spiritual Exploration. Tonight we're going to talk about channeling, and I have here with me, once again, straight from Florida, Joshua. How you doing, Joshua?
I'm well. How are you? And thank you for having me here.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you. You know that.
I love being on this award-winning show.
That's right. I should have brought my award with me, huh?
Congratulations again.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yes, I was very happy to receive the Nova Award from CTV back in I think it was March or something.
Very nice.
Or before that, it might have been. Anyway, but it was really very nice to be the recipient of that award. And as a matter of fact, I am marking now 16 years of doing this show.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, 16 years I've been doing the show and enjoying it. And I hope I can go on for another 16 years.
Oh, yes.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about channeling.
Yes.
But before we talk about channeling, let's talk about the last show that you and I did was about the other side, and you had written a book. And I see it's called The Other Side,
Yes.
which is what our show was called.
The Other Side, Visit Now.
Visit Now.
Yes.
And does the book tell you how to visit?
Yes.
Really?
And I bring people there all the time. But first, this is your copy. I'd like to give this to you as a gift.
Thank you.
And I wrote a nice little message in there for you.
Okay, I'll have to read it later.
The Other Side, Visit Now, and this is your copy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, I'll read that. Anyway,
And I do have a chapter in there specific for channeling, and a lot of the stories in there is a lot of channeling in the book. You know what? Maybe I'll describe two situations that I have in the book that, yeah, why don't I share that with you? And it's actually the second story I'm going to give you as I tell you these two. It's the first time that I actually had a client do a full channeling. So let me start with the first story, because there are two very big turning points in my life. So now, as you know, I've been doing the metaphysical naturally. I was never trained, but naturally, since I'm a child, from the earliest ages, I'm doing, out-of-body, astral travel, remote viewing, remote healing, dream control, you name it, I've been doing it naturally as a child. Now with hypnosis, I'm able to teach others to do the same things, to have similar experiences. So going back, I'm 6 years old, and this is one of my first conscious memories of being out of body. And from this situation going forward till now, I remember every astral travel, everything that I do when I'm outside of my body. In any case, so I'm 6 years old. I wake up in the middle of the night, and it's like I'm frozen, I'm paralyzed, I can't move, and I'm struggling. And finally, I roll over and I fall to the ground.
you fell off the bed.
I fall to the ground. I look up, and there's my physical body sleeping in the bed.
Oh, boy.
Now, coming from the hallway into the bedroom is this beautiful, beautiful white light. I crawl into the light, and really can't put the experience into words, but it's just so beautiful. The feelings, the sensations, the frequencies, the sounds, the music, the warmth. It was just the love. It was beautiful. I look up, and in the threshold of the doorway, Jesus is standing there. And he puts out his hand, picks me up. We're encompassed by this white light. We walk through the hallway. Now, the rest of the story is in the book. For me, it's always been an amazing experience. From that moment on, just amazing experience. But I never had a conscious memory of what it meant. Why did Jesus come to visit me? I just knew it for what it was. It was just a beautiful experience. Now, as a hypnotist, I'm bringing people to the other side all the time. It's very healing. I bring someone to the other side, and then I bring them back. They now have this new outlook on life, this new awareness. The biggest problems they thought they had before they went to the other side are now so trivial. They have this awareness that we're going to this beautiful place. When we leave here, we're originally from there, the other side. Just a beautiful, perfect place. And this world, 100 years is a blink of an eye for our eternal souls.
Sure.
So in any case, several years ago, I have this girl, she's 16 years old, she comes to me for confidence. I'm doing regular hypnosis with her, and I said, you know what, let me bring her to the other side. Now, background on this girl, she has no education past the 8th grade. Very intelligent, knows how to read, but she doesn't read books. She's never been to church. She doesn't know anything about religion. She doesn't know anything about spirituality. She doesn't know anything about me.
Led a very sheltered life, eh?
Well, not sheltered, because she's had a lot. She had a really, and I talk a little bit about her life in the book. She had a really tough life up to that point. I mean, it was really, really hard. In any case, it was not that she did not have a sheltered life, but she just never went to church. She never had any kind of guidance at all for anything. You know, she was in the foster care system. I mean, she had a rough life. In any case, so I bring her to the other side, and while she's on the other side, she tells me she's there with her spirit guide. Now, she doesn't know what a spirit guide is, but she says she's there with her spirit guide. So I'm doing a Q&A. And then this is the first time that I've done this, and I've been doing it ever since. I said, ask your spirit guide if she wouldn't mind coming in and speaking to me for a bit. She said, okay. I said, all right, on a count of 3, and let her know, tell her to let me know when she's in. 1, 2, 3, I tap her on the head, body shakes, eyes flutter, hello. The girl is no longer in her body.
Where'd she go?
Her spirit, she was on the other side.
Ah.
Her spirit guide is now in her, now that's a complete channel. Her spirit guide is now inside of her body communicating with me directly. So I'm doing a Q&A, and she starts telling me that she's familiar with my spirit guides. She knows my spirit guides. So is one of them available to come in and speak to me? She said, yes. I said, okay, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, tap on the head, body shakes, eyes flutter, hello. Now my spirit guide is now inside of this girl's body. The girl's not there, communicating with me directly, telling me things about myself, about my experiences that only I know. No other person on this planet knows except me. Now my spirit guide is inside this girl telling me these things, and there's no way that this girl could possibly know any of that information. So she was saying, I was there when this happened to you, when that happened to you, I was there. So then at the time, I didn't just accept anything. I tested her a little bit, tried to trip her up. I said, okay, so when I was 10 years old and such happened to me, were you there? She said, such and such happened to you when you were 12 years old, and yes, I was there. And then she said, and I was there when Jesus came to visit you when you were 6 years old. And
wow.
then for me, there's like, okay, that was
that's
a
validation.
Huge, absolute, yes. And that's actually the chapter in my book, chapter 7, I believe, Absolute Proof. That's the story I described. The rest of it with her and that.
And that's how you got.
But yeah, that was absolute confirmation for me, and then I've been doing it ever since.
This is good, and the printing is very nice too.
Thank you. Yes, it's a very easy read.
I see that. I see it's a very easy read. Well, you can get this on
Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
On Amazon.
It's in a few stores. It's actually in Staten Island. It's at Enchanted. Mystic, I don't know the name of the store. It's on Jewett Avenue and Forest Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
Mystical Wonders.
Oh,
I believe that. They do have copies. They're actually the first one she got, the first batch, she sold out already.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's good. And you can also go online to...
yes.
And
you can go to my website, visittheotherside.com.
Barnes & Noble has it too in the store.
Not in the store yet. It's
online.
Probably going to be available in the store right before Christmas.
All right, that's good.
But online, yeah, you go to my other website.
That would probably make a nice gift because I'm
yes.
sure, I mean, most everybody is curious about the other side.
Absolutely.
I mean, everybody wants, except the people that are absolutely sure that there isn't another side.
And there's many of them.
And there's many of them, is right,
yeah.
But anyway, all right, so this girl, so your spirit guide was channeling through her.
She didn't say it. She wasn't in her body anymore.
Right.
My spirit guide was actually in her body. See, and that is a full channel.
Right. Yeah, I know. There's different degrees of channeling.
There's infinite levels of channeling.
Yeah.
For example, I've had clients, especially at a certain age, they're more fearful. They don't want to lose control, so they don't let go enough to do a full channel. But I'll give you an example of, because there's infinite levels of channeling. So I do a channeling workshop, which I'll share with you in a moment. But I've had clients where I do the same thing, and the spirit guide will enter their body, but they're still present in their body. So they're sharing the physical space. Now, sometimes, depending on the level, sometimes the spirit guide is inside the body communicating through the client, and the client is in control of the vocal cords. And they're both, the client is aware that the spirit guide is inside of them. They're sharing the space. And then sometimes the spirit guide, when the spirit guide enters the body, the spirit guide is in control of the vocal cords and communicating with me directly, but the client has not completely left the body. They're either, in their words, off to the back or off to the side.
Are they seeing what's going on?
Seeing, hearing, feeling, yes.
So they know, they're conscious of what's going on.
Absolutely, always conscious. Now, the only difference is when there's a full channel, like her name is Paige, the girl in the book where I just described that first channeling experience. She was a full channel, so she was no longer in a body, so she does not have a conscious awareness of me communicating with my guide. And I have tons and tons of video. I had her come back to do several sessions, 3 hours at a time, and I have videos of all of those sessions. And those 3 hours, for her, it's only 5 minutes, where she's on the other side for 5 minutes, re-energizing every aspect of her being. And the way she describes it, there's just countless people of all different ages, all bright, shining, just showering her with love. And she feels all of that love, the gratitude, the warmth. It's a beautiful experience for her. Again, for her, it's only 5 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm speaking to the spirit guide inside of her body for 3 hours.
Right, yeah, I know. On the other side, time doesn't mean anything. It doesn't affect them. At the blink of an eye, a whole bunch of years go by.
Oh, absolutely. Also, just to let you know, because there's infinite levels of time, but I speak a little bit about it in the book, about time here, because time really doesn't exist. And we're able, and I love teaching my students to shift time, alter time, change time, and it's so easy, so powerful. I've had students shift and alter time where, like I was saying how normally it would take 18 hours to drive from Florida to New York. Sometimes we shift time as we're driving, and we make it to New York without speeding. We make it to New York in 10 to 12 hours.
Wow, that's pretty.
Yes, and that's still stopping for gas.
I mean, it takes that much time to get to Cincinnati.
My wife has to stop and go to the bathroom several times.
Right, yeah, well, that's understandable. Right, I know. That would be me. I mean, one time I surprised my sister because my niece was visiting, and she was heading back by car, and other friends were going out there in a few days, and they were going to head back. So I said, you know what? I'm going to get in the car with her, go to Ohio, and then meet the friends there in a few days, and when they're ready a few days after that to go back, just hop in the car with them and come back, and exactly what I did. And that's about the time. My sister knew that I was in the car because they were an hour late getting there. She said she had to be in the car because I know you made more stops.
So you didn't shift time, though?
No, I didn't shift time.
I would love to teach you how to shift time.
Oh, I'd love to learn. It's amazing because I remember years ago I knew a person who trans-channeled actually the Angel Gabriel. There was a fellow that I used to sponsor his show. It was called Gabriel Speaks. And it was the Angel Gabriel trans-channeling through this guy, and he would talk about all different things and all. And sometimes I would have the opportunity to question the angel. And this is around 2000 or so that this was going on, and I was always concerned about what's going to come with 2012. And the angel told me a few things that actually didn't. He said that we were going to drop linear time. And we didn't.
Well, in the reality that you're currently in, we didn't.
Yeah.
But there are infinite realities, there's infinite timelines. So that's another thing. That's why I always say, you know, a psychic can, and we're all psychic, each one of us, you, everyone in the audience, everyone watching the program, we're all psychic, we all have these abilities, each one of us. Yet granted, we're all on different levels of awareness, different levels of understanding, but we all have these abilities. But 1,000 psychics can tell you the same exact thing. X, Y, and Z is going to happen. It's written in stone. That is what's going to happen. You can change what's going to happen in us like this. Change your belief, change your thought. You know every psychic's telling you you're going to turn left. You can say, you know what, I'm going to turn right. So it's ultimately up to you. You can change your future. I believe in creating. We're all absolute creators, so I teach my students to create. So predicting, when a psychic does something, it's a snapshot of one possible future, sometimes a couple of possible futures, but there's infinite possible futures. And there's all kinds of interference patterns and everything else, but we are absolute creators. So I always teach, please create your reality, create your future. You do not have to accept even if 1,000 psychics tell you the same exact thing over and over, you do not have to accept it. Especially if it's not the most positive, most beneficial, do not accept it. Change it.
Well, what if it is stuff that you were hoping for, let's say, and 1,000 psychics tell you the same thing?
That it's going to happen?
Yeah.
Oh, and it doesn't happen?
Yeah, that's just.
So what's the question then?
Well, the thing is that wouldn't you think that if more than one or two people saw something in your future that it was there, it's going to happen?
And guess what? In one timeline or several timelines, it is going to happen, and it did happen.
Did?
Did.
Even though you don't know it?
Yes, because, again, there's infinite realities, there's infinite timelines, and you are existing in those infinite timelines. What is the most important timeline, the most important reality is the one you are in right now, right here, right now, the one that you are consciously aware of. So this is the one that is the most important. This is the one that counts right here, right now.
In other words, in the moment.
Yes, and there's infinite possibilities. So again, when you're receiving, and I think I say it in the book as well, you know, I was given certain information and from the other side, but it doesn't mean that it's set in stone. Even if they're saying this is the rule, this is the absolute rule, no. We are absolute creators. You do not have to accept it, and you can change it.
Well, that's interesting to know. Now, let's talk about the different kinds of channeling. Like you said, there's a total channel where a spirit overtakes a person who is channeling.
Okay.
And that person's spirit goes somewhere else.
The other side.
To the other side. And now from the other side, are they able to know what's going on with their body, or they're just hanging out over there?
Like I said, for her, it was 5 minutes. And usually when it's a full channel, it just feels like 5 minutes of complete bliss. They're just so happy. They're re-energizing every aspect of their being with that pure love and the love of all of the angels, the guides.
They come out of it happy?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can see the change in the aura, the energy, the eyes, everything. It's just a glow. Every time I bring someone back, and I'll do it in group sessions a lot, and when they all come back, they're all, you can see the brightness.
Because they've seen the other
They've been there
side.
and they're re-energized. When you go to that area, it's pure love.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing.
God's
It's pure
love.
love, yes. Directly from God, the source of all creation.
Right, right.
Absolutely.
All right, so then that's like the full channel where a spirit overtakes the body.
Doesn't overtake. It enters.
Enters, okay.
And it's all with permission. It's all, you know.
Right, right. Then there's also a channel where somebody just hears spirit.
And what the other channeling I described, where you have the spirit guide enters the body and the person is still there, so they're sharing space. So that's one level. And then where the client is using the vocal cords or the spirit guide is using the vocal cords. Now, a level below that would be, yes, where you're hearing and you're, so for me, I don't consider that a complete, I don't put that in the definition with channeling. although many people do. And when I bring people to the other side and they're getting information, for example, with Paige, when I had her on the other side for the first time, she told me she was there with her spirit guide, and then I'm asking questions, and Paige is asking her spirit guide the questions, and the spirit guide is answering the question to her, and then she's relaying it to me. That was before I had the spirit guide come in. Now, many people would consider that a channeling. I don't consider that in my definition of channeling, but of course it's real, it's powerful, but many people would consider that channeling. Would you, I guess, in your definition, it would be
Yeah,
channeling?
well, to me, channeling is however you're able to get information from spirit and pass it on.
Right.
So, I mean, and sometimes I feel like I don't hear like voices or anything, but sometimes if I have a question or I want to do something, sometimes words go into my head like, oh, well, do this, or this is what's going on, or whatever, you know, just giving me information. And I feel like I pick up, but sometimes I kind of block it too, I have to admit, because sometimes, you know, just like the ghost whisperer on TV, I mean, she was constantly being bombarded. You don't want that either.
No, and that's why it's very important. It's so simple. And I teach all of my students and clients that you can turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. It's like this, just an intention. And when you're aware that it's so simple, it's even easier, and it's so much more powerful when you're aware that it is just so simple. It's easy, and which again, you know, there's a lot of psychic mediums, healers that they teach that, well, let's say empaths, where they can't be around a large group of people because they're getting all of their pain and, you know, all of their feelings. They're feeling all of the other person's pain, but you can turn that off. I mean, one of the reasons I started doing the healing is because I can feel other people's pain probably more powerfully than they feel it themselves. But it's so simple to turn it off. And too many have never been taught how to turn it off, so they're walking around like just like an open channel, and they're getting bombarded by all those feelings and emotions.
Like Whoopi Goldberg and Ghost.
Yeah, but it's a split second to learn how to do it, and you just turn it off. And it's important to turn it off. You don't want to walk through. Yeah.
Like I said, you don't want to be bombarded by you don't want to be bombarded with people that you can see, let alone people you can't see. Right?
Yeah.
So now you channel, right? And so how do you go about it?
Well, it depends on. I do not do full channeling anymore. I won't do it. Not that I won't do it. I just don't do it. You have to. There's reasons why you would do certain things. I don't have a reason to channel anything. But if you're speaking about channeling energy, then absolutely, because I will channel
healing
pure
energy.
Love, infinite God energy, you know, directly from God, the source of all creation. I will channel that energy through myself, through every aspect of my being, to do healing work. And when I'm out astral traveling and doing my healing work, I'm going everywhere to bring love and light. And there's infinite dimensions, infinite realities, and I go everywhere.
Well, just like with the healing Reiki that I do, it's you bring in God's pure energy through yourself and into another person or another, even an animal or the earth or whatever you want to help.
Yes.
So
see, usually when I'm referring to channeling, because even when I do the 2-day healing workshop, you know, I discuss channeling that beautiful, pure love, white light healing energy through each person. I'm guiding them to do that, to connect to source and channel that energy through themselves and sending it to everyone in the room. It's very, very powerful. But for me, I consider, and I think I put the definition in the book where when I'm speaking of channeling, for the purposes of the book, it is channeling a specific entity, like a spirit guide, a specific entity to come through, to communicate, to give information. So, and there's infinite levels of channeling. You can channel all kinds of energies. You can actually channel the awareness of the sun, the awareness of the earth, because the earth has its own awareness. The sun has its own awareness. Every star has their own awareness. And as a matter of fact, sometimes when I'm doing hypnosis with clients, with students, I have them, or I'll get their conscious mind out of the way, and I'll even get their subconscious mind out of the way, and I'll communicate directly to the awareness of a specific cell, a brain cell, a cell inside the heart, a cell anywhere. Every aspect of who you are has its own awareness, taking it to another level. And so, I'm sorry if people at home listening to this, I may have lost you on that one, but I'm coming from an area of the infinite, and there are infinite possibilities. And
Well, it can be a little complicated to the layperson.
yes, which, by the way, the book is a very easy read. It's very simple. It's like I'm speaking to you now.
So you can understand everything.
Yes, and it's very clear. It's no jargon. It's no all kinds of spiritual terms. It's
You don't
just
beat around the bush.
straightforward. And yeah, it's very clear. It's an easy read, and not because I wrote the book, but I will share with you that everyone who has read it so far loves it.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I'm not saying that just because I
I'm
wrote
sure
it.
I will. I'm sure I will. So
And you'll let me know. As soon
I
as you
will
read it.
let
Yes,
you know.
okay.
I'll
Thank
give you a
very
call.
much.
Yes, I'll say, oh, I just finished.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, though, but, all right, so if a person, now you said before everybody is psychic.
Yes.
Can everyone channel? Can they be open to and receive messages from spirit guides?
Yes.
Or even saints or Jesus, Blessed Mother of everybody?
It depends. But yes, the first answer is yes. But here's the thing. It all depends. Well, let me give you an example. The last channeling workshop that I've done, one of the first people that I had come up, I brought him to the other side. He was there with his spirit guides, and he can completely channel. But when I brought the spirit guide in, he was still present in the physical, and the spirit guide is using his vocal cords and communicating. And I have this on tape. I actually think I may have put it on YouTube. Actually, this channeling session. So when I have, I'm speaking to his spirit guide in his body, but he's still present, and the spirit guide is telling me that he can be a full channel. He can leave the physical body so that the spirit guide can communicate without him being present, but he has too much fear because of his upbringing, which was very Catholic. Very Catholic. I don't know if there's such a thing as very Catholic, but in any case, at that point, I said, well, would you mind, is it okay if we help him to overcome that fear so that he can be a complete channel? And said yes. And of course, the moment we started doing this work, and I guided the spirit guide to do whatever was necessary to heal any level, anything that was taught in the past, emotional level, and all the levels. And within a matter of maybe a couple of minutes, he was gone out of his body. So after the session, he never had after that moment, never had a conscious awareness. And I think I had his spirit guide in for at least an hour, maybe a little bit more. And he doesn't remember it because he was not in his body. So
Did
he
you
was able to
tape it?
let go. What's that? Yes, I have it on
So
video.
this person was able to view or hear
Yes.
exactly what went on.
Yes. And he was able to see me do the healing work because in conjunction, it's another way that I love to heal people, is have their spirit guide enter their body and then work with me to heal whatever needs to be healed. So you can actually see on this video, and I believe I have it on YouTube. You know what? I'll find out exactly where it is, and I'll make it available. And you can see as I'm guiding the spirit guide to do whatever the spirit guide needs to do. Now, I have permission to work with the energy and to heal him, and all of a sudden, I have it where his stomach needs healing. So then I start healing his stomach, you feel the heat, and then you can see, you'll see it on the video. As I'm doing that, his eyes are closed, he's not in his body just started, shaking, and he's receiving that energy. And then, because there was a lot that needed to be done with his stomach, I started feeling it in my stomach. So then I took my hand to heal it in my stomach, and as I'm tapping my stomach like this, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, I'm doing this, and as I'm doing this, his body, we're not physically touching, his body starts shaking, and you can see the reactions as I'm doing this, and then I take out the healed stomach energetically, and then I place it back in him, and then his stomach was fine.
So he was completely healed after
Yes,
that?
and when he came back the next day, everyone noticed. He just so energetic. You could see the aura, the brightness. He looked several years younger,
Wow.
and he had no more stomach issues.
When a person leaves and goes to meet with their spirit guide,
Yes.
when they come back, do they have a memory of this?
Absolute, yes.
And they remember what their spirit guide looked like, what their
Yes.
spirit guide's name is?
Yes,
all that?
absolutely. So when I bring you to the other side, you're face-to-face. If your loved ones are available, you're face-to-face with your loved ones, communicating with them just as clear as we are right here, seeing, hearing, feeling. You can hug. Yes, and you remember everything, absolutely everything.
What about a dream of a loved one? The last time I dreamt of my mother was actually probably around the time, the morning, you know, that my friend Frank passed away. That'll be 5 years in December.
Okay.
And she came to me and she looked beautiful. Her hair, like she just walked out of the beauty parlor, makeup, her red lipstick that she always wore, beautiful, nice dress, very, it was, you know, like it was Easter Sunday or something, you know? And we hugged each other in that dream. My mother used to always say, if you see somebody in a dream that has passed, don't touch them because they can take you with them. But I guess that's something that...
That's what they say, and unfortunately that's,
Yeah.
you know, I always tell
Well,
people,
we
don't listen
hugged.
to what they say, but
Right.
it's... Oh, go ahead.
My mother and I hugged.
And you're still here.
And I'm still here.
Yes.
So I says, Ma, you must have been mistaken about that one.
Yes, that's one of the
Misnomers.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway,
people,
though, but
people are mistaught and then they pass it on, and it's, you know, it's misinformation because
right.
there's infinite possibilities and you have infinite energy, and there's just no way that, so you can hug in a dream.
Right.
And by the way, a lot of times where you think it's a dream, it's not actually a dream.
That's the next thing I wanted to
so-
talk about. Because it felt so real, it really did. And I feel like she was there to give me a little comfort because she knew,
Absolutely.
she knew the news that I was about to get that very day.
So your part of this is not to just think or guess, but to know.
She
That
was there.
absolutely
She
real.
visited me.
If it felt real, it's real.
And I really do think it's because she knew that Frank had passed or was passing.
And she came
at
to
that
let you
time.
know. And here's and again, there's infinite possibilities. But why did your mother come to you in a dream? And I say dream because it most likely was not just a dream.
Right.
And I know the difference because I've been doing the outer body and dream control, lucid dreaming, my whole life, and I'm able to see, you know, I'm able to know the infinite levels of each. Where most people, when they're having an outer body or they're astral traveling, they think that it's just a dream. When there, you know, there's these, even sometimes it's just a slight difference. In any case, your mother came to you in a dream to let you know that your friend Frank, it's not the end. We have life after death.
Right.
We exist
Yes.
eternally.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons that too many people they don't know. They don't know where we're going. But guess what? You do not have to wait until you die
To find
know.
out.
Yeah. I love taking people to the other side because you're there in real time. You know that we have this beautiful place that we're going to.
What about near-death experience?
What about it?
That's going to the other side and coming back.
Many times, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but isn't there a difference though? I mean, you have a near-death experience because maybe you're sick and dying or something, and then all of a sudden you come back, something happens, whatever, or purposefully going, you know, to the other side.
Again, there's infinite possibilities. Why do people have near-death experiences? Sometimes it's their time to go. They go, but then they take on a new mission, or they get this certain awareness that, okay, you have the choice. You can go back, you can finish this, you can, sometimes a person they learned everything they were supposed to learn, and maybe there's more lessons, or they can choose at that point to go back into this physical reality, to maybe learn what they may have had to learn in their next life, so they don't have to they don't have to do the next life.
They don't have to do the next life.
Right. And again, that's
sometimes-
one possibility out of infinite possibilities. Sometimes, a person's not meant to go yet, and something
Exactly.
happens.
Right. Sometimes they're not meant to go
So now
yet.
they go, and they, okay, well, no,
and
it's
their
not
family
your
is
time.
saying to
but
them,
look,
go back.
here,
Yeah.
and then they go back. And then there's, people that do have near-death experiences. They go to the other side, and then they come back with certain abilities or certain awareness.
They become psychic,
right.
Or they're
But they
able
always
to
have that
do-
ability. And that's another thing that I also discuss in the book, is that you do not have to have a near-death experience to have these amazing, extraordinary skills and abilities. I love getting people out of their own way to use their abilities to create, to manifest, to be psychic, to astral travel. You can go to the other side anytime. And this is what I teach, especially in the 2-day healing workshop. On the second day, I teach you how to go to the other side on your own through self-hypnosis like this. And there's infinite ways of getting there. When I do the Master Healer program, I teach everyone how to do it through astral traveling. I teach them how to do it through self-hypnosis. I teach them how to do it through self-hypnosis through each one of their chakras. And when you energetically leave through each of those chakras, each time you leave through one of the other, it's a different awareness, a different feeling, different sensation, and you know the difference between leaving from each chakra. So in any case, yeah. I hope I answered something.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you did. So what you told us was that a person doesn't have to necessarily have an astral or
yes, they don't have a near-death experience to have these abilities.
Right, and to have that experience.
Oh, that's where I was going with the
seeing.
knowledge, because they come back with this knowledge of certain events or certain things. But you can go to the other side every day if you want. And you can gain knowledge, and if you can go to the Akashic records, you can go to the library on the other side to get all that information.
Yeah.
And your spirit guides are there to help you, and you can go there anytime you want to communicate with them, and they will give you the answers that you need, as long as it doesn't interfere with your path. Because sometimes they'll hold back information just because it's not time for you to know something, because if you know it, you won't go in a certain direction that you're supposed to go into, and they'll
Before
let you know.
Get that information.
You're not allowed to know that yet, because I know when I was younger, a lot of times when I was going to get certain information, and they would always say, not yet, with certain information that I wanted.
Not for you yet.
Not yet. So.
Well, that's interesting, because so when you go to the other side, then you say you have access to the Akashic records.
To the infinite.
Yes. Yeah. So if
Absolutely.
you do, then you should be able to find out anything you want to know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
And I love taking people there to get the answers that they need. And it's, going to a psychic or a medium, very powerful, can be very especially if they're real, it can be very beneficial. You're receiving answers, you're getting, messages and stuff like that, and that's great. But I think it's so much more powerful to go there yourself. So there's no middleman. You're there face to face with your loved one, or you're there face to face with your spirit guide. To me, that's powerful.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's very powerful, especially that you can get information that could help you in this life.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Information about how to handle certain situations, or how to handle people, whatever. So, all right. So then, all right. Now we talked about the different kinds of channeling. We talked about the full channeling, the channeling where people hear or sense spirit and what they have to say. Is there anything else that we should know about?
Well, we discussed channeling different energies, different awareness. You can channel the awareness of a specific cell in your body. You can access, there are no limitations. You can access anything, and you can channel that information. Maybe one thing that we should discuss is many people may have a fear of that type of channeling. Like, can they, are they going to get their body back or something like that?
I know, it's kind of scary.
But it's not, and it shouldn't be. The light is so much more powerful than the dark. And when I do this, I put in all kinds of protective measures. Like when I do a channeling workshop, first of all, I get everyone out of their own way. I take you to a place where you do absolute forgiveness. You have a clean slate. Now, once you do that, and once you eliminate all negative karma, if there is any, then your frequencies and your vibrations rise. When your frequencies and vibrations rise, then anything of a less than positive nature, they can't They can't affect anything at all. They're not on that frequency. They cannot enter, they can't even come close.
Well, just like I remember when I was taking my Reiki classes. And every time we went to another level of Reiki, we had so many attunements, as they called it, to the energy. So you would have to get attuned to the energy, and each time you got an attunement, each class that you took, which would take a few days, 2-3 days, all right, and you'd have about maybe 2 attunements in each of those days. And it would start a 21-day cycle of your energy rising, and you would experience things, and sometimes you would experience what they called the dark night of the soul, which is like you'd be experiencing things that were negative, that would bring downs, that would make you nervous or upset. You know what I mean? And then once the 21 days were over, your energy and I remember lying down, trying to go to sleep and feeling this energy just bouncing all over the place, you know, and feeling the vibration being lifted of, you know, the energy vibration.
Can you tell me what the purpose of experiencing the dark night of the soul? Can you tell me what the purpose of that is?
It's a side effect of the, it's a side effect of the attunements. It's not that they want you to, but they say that could happen when you become attuned to the energy. And each Reiki class brought you to a higher energy.
I actually don't like that. I think I'm going to go speak to some people because I don't like that. I don't think they should. That shouldn't be a side effect of raising your energies. You should.
Well, I remember now.
And that's, I mean, that's you when you. This is what you were taught, and this is what you experienced.
Well, my learning Reiki goes back to like the year 2000.
Okay.
So it's 15 years now. I'm a Reiki practitioner.
Okay.
All right. And I remember during that time, way back then, and each class I took, Reiki 1, Reiki 2, Reiki 3, and Reiki Master, and for each class you were attuned. You know, they put these symbols over you. They did this whole thing in an attunement room and all this kind of stuff, and you would have some negative experiences during the next 3 weeks, and it was part of the education or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, see, the thing I do when I do the 2-day healing workshop and Evolve Your Soul training, the first things that I do is I eliminate all of your negative thought patterns, all negative energies, fear, trauma, obstacles, blockages, you name it. All on the first day, we get rid of it all. So there's no possibility of having any of those negatives. And then once we do the forgiveness, then it's all absolutely eliminated. Your frequencies, your vibrations, your energy is way through the roof. And I've had several Reiki masters take my 2-day workshop and are absolutely blown away, doing things they never dreamed possible. So, you know, I believe you should get all of that out right away. There's no reason to experience it to that level, especially having a certain fear of it. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. But you know, everything that I do, I was never taught or trained. Everything came natural, and I pass it on. Now that I'm a hypnotist, I'm able to teach people how to do things and bring them to the places they need to be to evolve their soul. So, by the way, I love being on Staten Island.
Right, it's a nice place. It's a good place when you don't live here.
And the food, I'll just tell you, today, it's my favorite restaurant. It's delicious food. It's actually my favorite restaurant on Staten Island.
We can't advertise now.
I can't say the restaurant?
No.
Oh.
You can't advertise anything on
I wasn't going to advertise, but I was just...
Well, just saying the name would be an advertisement, a plug, you know what I mean?
Wow.
So you can tell me later.
I will remind me to tell you later.
Yeah, no, public access television, we're not allowed to promote anything.
Oh.
Yeah. We can't promote ourselves.
So I will not say the name of the restaurant, Esca's. I will not say...
Uh-oh.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, well.
I just said it.
Anyway, though, but you like this place, huh?
Yes. I apologize to everyone at the station. My bad.
That's all right. Don't worry about
Food
it.
is delicious, though.
Okay, good.
Blank out the name of the restaurant, but the food is delicious. It's just, it's amazing. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. Anyway, though, but
My whole life, I would never eat pizza outside of New York.
Oh, I know. Well,
there is
you
one
won't
pizza
find
place.
good pizza outside of New York.
I would never touch it in Florida. You couldn't pay me to eat pizza in Florida. But recently, and I'm not going to name the restaurant, but there is one place in Florida that the pizza is delicious. It's actually better than up here.
You know what the difference is with the food in New York as opposed to all the other states, all the other places?
Are you going to say water?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the water.
Okay.
We have the best water coming out of the tap. We don't even really need the Poland Spring and all that stuff. We don't need all the mineral water and all that, because we have good water right here, right out of our tap.
Yes, they say New York water is the best water.
And that's why the food is the best here.
They were actually filling up all of those, I don't know if it was Dasani or the other one, whatever those, they were filling up those plastic bottles with tap water and then selling it as if it was actually purified water.
How could they do that?
Well, they weren't supposed to, they just did it, they got caught.
I'm sure they got caught because, you know, when you go to unscrew the top, you know, it clicks that it's the first time it's being, the top is being removed.
Oh no, they put the water in and then they
closed it
yes.
as if it was from the plant.
Yes.
Oh boy, no, that's you can't do that.
Well, they did it.
Okay, they did it. But anyway,
so getting back to channeling, you're always protected. And when you leave your body, you're always protected. Nothing of a negative nature can ever enter. Yeah.
So, so when you're channeling, then your guides, I guess, will protect you. Make
Absolutely,
sure.
You're always and by the way, your energy, you are always protected just by yourself. But if you ever, for a moment, have any kind of even the slightest bit of a fear, you say help. And one of your guides will show up, pure love directly from God will show up. The moment you say help, it's like this. You're always protected at all times.
That's interesting to know. That is. There are times when, well, I mean, if you're lying, let's say, for instance, you're asleep, you're lying in bed, and all of a sudden you get this, like, jolt. And a lot of people think that it's because their spirit had left their body and come back and was, you know, in the midst of landing back into the body.
Yes, many times that's the case.
You think that could be the case?
Oh, I know it is, yes.
It is. All right.
Well, but I mean, there's infinite possibilities, because sometimes you get in a jolt because, you know, you had a muscle spasm or something, or, you know, the way you're laying. But yes, many times, when, especially if they have that awareness, like, oh, you know, they get that jolt, yes, their energy just came back in their body. Their soul just came back in their body. Many people are astral traveling at all times during their sleep, but they're not consciously aware of it.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's why I like to teach them, especially from the dream state, from the sleep state. That's a beautiful, a lot of people, when they have that first feeling of being, like I described when I was 6 years old, the frozen, like they call it dream paralysis.
I had that happen to me when I was
young. And people
young.
get afraid that they can't move, so then they struggle, and then they wake themselves up.
Yeah.
But that is a beautiful starting point. If you don't have that fear, say, hey, it's because what happens is you are already energetically out of your body. That's why your physical body is not moving, because you're slightly out of your body already.
Yeah.
And that's why you feel and you can't move. That's a beautiful point to be aware, hey, I'm not paralyzed, my energy body's already out. And then you just give yourself the intention and you leave the physical. And you're there and you can see your physical body, take off, do whatever you want to do. When you're ready, come back in.
Yeah, well, that happened to me a couple of times when I was very young, you know, when I was maybe not even a teenager, I think. And I remember one time I was in bed and I'm laying there and I can't move at all. And I saw another a woman or a young lady or something, and that person was handing me a bag of candy, and I was reaching out for it, and thought I had it and everything, and then I just couldn't move, could not move a muscle, and after a while I fought, and I finally was able to move, you know. So,
in the bed?
Yeah, while I was lying in bed.
Oh, okay.
I was a kid. You know?
Okay.
I was just a child. I mean, not a very young child. Maybe around 10 or 12, I guess, you know. something like that. So I've had the experience of being like frozen
Right,
and not
right.
be able to move a muscle, and then just fight to try to be able to get out of that condition.
Okay, and again, that's a beautiful starting point. So, and usually when the student becomes aware that, hey, that's what's going on,
Yeah.
then it's easier for them to now
Yeah,
be
well,
aware of
at
it
that
and then
age,
leave their
who
body.
knew, you
Right,
know?
right.
But yeah, at that age, I didn't know what was going on. So yeah, well, as far as that's concerned, I think that I mean, I've had a lot of experience with seeing people channeling things. I used to know a man who's channeled spirit a lot, and I used to have lots of conversations with different spirits because he would go into a trance channel actually, and I remember talking to one spirit and asking that spirit about heaven and hell. And the spirit said to me that there is a heaven and a hell, except that, he says, you could have two spirits standing next to each other, and one's in heaven and one's in hell. It's the state that they're in because they know what kind of life they led, you know? And
I'm going to say just to that's one possibility out of infinite possibilities.
Okay.
And
well, this came
I'm
from
going
a
to go on
spirit.
record, there is no hell.
There is no hell, you don't think so?
I know so.
But we judge ourselves.
We do judge ourselves.
We
We
judge
are our worst
ourselves,
critics too.
and
So
I'm sure.
But,
and we judge ourselves, and when we are definitely out of body permanently, and we judge ourselves, we put ourselves into the state that we feel we belong because of the life we led.
guess what?
What?
I'm putting an end to all of that. If that is that one possibility, because there's infinite possibilities, that one possibility in a certain reality, if that's still the case, I am absolutely putting an end to that.
Oh, yeah?
There's no reason for anyone to suffer with anything. People going through this life,
If
this life
you've
this life could be so hard, so.
It may
by
be-
the way,
it may be hard,
and I
but-
do mention that in the book. Most people are operating on bad programming. If you're taught repeatedly to punch your fist on this table, and that's considered, let's say, a sin, or that's evil if you punch the table, but you don't know any better. You're always taught to punch the table.
Well,
Do you
yeah,
think
but
you
what
should
about
go to hell
people
for that?
who-
No.
Not for punching a table.
Well, I'm giving
but
it as a-
for
maybe that's not a good,
for murdering people, for being cruel to animals, for being cruel to Mother Earth.
Most
I think that
people-
they have to pay for that.
No. I'm telling you right now, everyone at home, you are absolutely forgiven for anything and everything you've done.
If you
You
want
are
forgiveness.
forgiven.
If you want
So
forgiveness.
please forgive yourself. Please forgive yourself.
If you want
Now, of
forgiveness.
course, when you really are truly giving your forgiveness, or like when you're sorry about something, when you're truly sorry, that means you're not going to do it again.
Most
So-
likely.
Well, if you're truly sorry, you're not going to do it again.
Yeah.
But in any case,
If you're truly sorry. But I think that whatever.
so you think that if someone
what we
does something
do,
wrong,
we're
they
going to
should.
either be rewarded or punished, and we do it to ourselves. We don't.
And I hope
God
you're okay with
doesn't-
us disagreeing.
No, I am.
You
I
better have
am.
me back here.
I always. Hey, look. How many times I had you on the show and I really didn't agree with everything you were saying?
Oh
and
my God, this is the first time I'm hearing this.
Here
I thought you agreed
are.
with everything.
No, I believe in a couple of things. Like I believe in karma. You don't.
I didn't say I don't believe in it. I'm getting rid of it.
I
There's no reason for any. When you have a cycle of karma, it just keeps going and going. It'll never end. It's a system of control, and control is a negative. No one should ever be in control of anyone else.
That's right.
The only one you should be in control of is yourself.
That's right.
So, and karma is a system of control. And by the way, if one person does this to this person, okay, next life I'm going to do this to you, it goes on and on and on. So
Vicious
please,
cycle.
please, let's all just get rid of karma. And by the way,
Oh,
I'll
it
be
would
at the
be
New
nice
Life
if we
Expo in
could.
October, and the workshop that I'm doing is absolutely eliminating all of your karma, getting rid of any karmic debt, karmic contracts. We're ripping them up, getting rid of it.
Oh,
So
yeah?
please come to that, so you don't have to have any karma. I don't want
Let
to
me
see you in
know.
hell.
Let
I
me
do
know.
not want you to go to hell.
I know I'm not going to hell. I know that because I do everything I can to help people, animals, Mother Earth. I'm always worried about all of
Good.
these
Thank
things.
you. Thank you.
And so I know that.
But it would be even better if you stop giving energy to a hell and stop giving energy for people to pay for what they've done.
Well, I think they
do-
should.
this world, this life is so difficult for so many people. Believe me, you've suffered enough on this planet. Anyone out there, you have suffered enough. You do not
No matter how much you're suffering, though, there's no excuse to go out of your way to hurt any person, place, or thing.
Well, now there's a difference between people operating on bad program, which most people are, and they do horrible things. But
Yeah.
then there is evil.
Right.
And they don't go to hell. There's a different place for them. It's not hell. It's not for suffering.
As long as there's a place for them where they know I'm here
But
because...
it's not. But there's not a. No, they don't know that.
No.
They're designed to come into this world to create misery, chaos, destruction.
Oh, wonderful.
Those are people without a conscience. I guess
Yeah.
maybe we'll have to. You know what? We may have to do a show on karma.
Oh, let's do that.
It may get very heated. You may have to get a bunch of people here.
Okay, we'll see.
All right.
In the meantime, we're out of time. So it was so nice to have you.
I love being here.
I love having you here.
And I forgive you.
Oh, okay. I forgive you too.
Thank you. I forgave myself a long time ago.
Okay, good, good. And I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Good night.
Thank you.